Hi everyone, Dr. Dennis from BeRobotize here. If you ever wanted to use ROS like a pro, then this is a video for you. In ROS for Pro series, we show you which tools we use at BeRobotize and how we profit from them. In the previous videos, we have introduced our internal tool called ROS Team Workspace, or short RTW, and also show you how you can set it up, how you can set up native workspaces on your machine using it, and how you can choose those workspaces. Today we will show you how you can set up Docker workspaces out of the box. So let's start from empty workspace. So here, as always, we have our documentation, RTW documentation. I just start from the main page to show you where I'm clicking, so you can replicate this. And we basically have also empty terminal with RTW. We see on this color, or if we enter RTW, use auto-completion, then we see there are commands. So let's check tutorials and quick start tutorials. So here we have already something with Docker. So we want to create empty workspace. Let's then just take empty workspace. Let's just call this distro setup workspace for distro humble. My first Docker workspace, we will call it. We have to set flag Docker, as you can see here. And we also have to send one additional flag to disable the graphic card, since I'm running this on the virtual machine. If you are having NVIDIA graphic card, then you don't need this flag, but I will use it. It's called disable NVIDIA. It will not use GPU features inside Docker. And then we press enter and things are starting. So before I already pulled the Docker at some point, and obviously Docker had everything cached, so there was nothing to pull. So this goes faster. Now we are upgrading the system, what we are always doing, because we always want to be on the newest state of the system when creating new image. And then in a few minutes, we will get everything set up. Similar as I explained already in the tutorials of setting up native workspace. We are doing all the same things here, but here we are also upgrading. We are not only updating repositories, we are even upgrading the system, because usually when you set it up, you want to have the newest state. We will also update ROS dep, of course, and then install all dependencies if required. So let's just wait for a few seconds for this to finish up. So now everything has finished here. As we can see, we are already in the Docker that you can see on this output here. In the Docker is already RTW set, of course, and we see we are not in the right folder. So we can again use our known commands, ROS-ds and so on. And also what here is important, when you first time create a Docker, the workspace will be written first when you exit the Docker, as you can see now. So always is the best you exit it first after you have created it. Now everything is written, and now you can use this Docker workspace. So even our workspace is in Docker, but of course we have workspace per default mapped to a local path, as you can see here, to my first Docker workspace source, and we are using the same in the Docker. This simplifies sometimes cloning and so on, depending where your keys and everything. We are sharing SSH keys, but this basically was good practice to simplify the management of files generally, because then also we have access to them on the whole system. And also now you can enter the Docker, simply use RTW Docker enter. And now we are again inside the Docker. Now let's go clone something. So we will clone now humble version of ROS2 control demos, as we know from the other video. Okay, now we have cloned it. Now, since we are currently set the Docker, we don't have to prep everything. So let's go again to our aliases, RTW aliases. So usually you would now execute ROS the prep, but we just executed this so that we don't have to do it right now. But we can do ROS depi because we want to install all the ROS2 dependencies. So they are now resolved. This will take few minutes because currently we are missing ROS2 control and all other fun dependencies that we need for the demos to run. So let's again wait a bit for a second, and we are back in a second. So now we have installed here everything for ROS2 control, and now as we used to, we can also compile everything. Oh, we see we have of course problems. Why do we have problems? Because we have to source everything again, of course. So when you are using Docker, there is one trick when sourcing that I usually love to use, and this is I exit the Docker and I enter it again because I know everything is sourced. That's easier for me than writing RTW vs my first Docker workspace. So that's basically what I would do. Okay, we are still looking that we are missing, and I don't know. I know what is the problem, of course, because I didn't check out the Humble branch here. So now the things will be working because these dependencies, some new dependencies we are using in Jazzy and from Jazzy on in ROS2 control. So always make sure that you check out the proper branch. Now we have to wait again a minute or two, and we will come back to you when this thing is compiled. So again, if you have watched our previous video, we have the same output with compiled packages. Okay, I think there was 18 packages. Now we have 17 packages. This is probably one example that was not in that is not in Humble, but it is available in Jazzy or Rolling and so on. Okay, so since we now have everything, we have to rebase again. So this time I will do the other way, RTW vs my first Docker workspace. We rebase it. So here is important to say that this workspace is named the same within the Docker and outside of Docker, because the path is basically the same that we are using, so that we have access to both. And now we can run example as also in the previous video. ROS2 launch, ROS2 demo example 1, and then I think the file was rrbot launch by. Now when we start it, we again get rvis as we used to. So here is our rrbot. And now when we want to run it, we of course, I will now show you the difference. We go RTW vs my first Docker workspace. And then we can try to run, we have everything compiled, but if we try to run ROS2 launch, you see I cannot even find ROS2 launch, and this is expected because we don't have Humble on our computer. But still we have the same path as in the Docker container I will show you just now, and we have here access to all the files also locally, which is very useful in this case. There is also standalone version. I will show you this in the future versions of the Docker. There is standalone version which doesn't have mapped file system to local one. But if you are using it for development, it's highly recommended that you use this mapping. RTW Docker enter. So now I'm within the Docker, and now I can run ROS2 launch, ROS2 control demo example 1, and it was test forward command controller. Okay, now we have to wait a few seconds, and you see that our bot is moving because commands are sent to it. And what I promise you to show you, it's this PVD. Okay, when we go into Docker PVD, then we see the path is basically the same as on our local computer of source. You see those are the same. That's what we are doing, also mapping of user and everything, so you don't have to think about it, and it's very easy then to use since you have the same paths and so on. It's very easy management if you like to do that. So thank you for being with us in another video. I hope you like it. If you have, give us thumbs up. If you didn't like it, please give us thumbs up again. Never mind, to make better videos in the future, and give us comment below what we can do better, and what do you like in our approach, what you don't like in our approach with Docker. There are 1,000 other ways. I'm sure that you can use Docker and utilize it. This is the way we have chosen. It is proven by the time. I use it already at least for 4 years every day. I love it very much, and it helps us really being very, very efficient in our consulting and development activities. Thank you, and see you soon in the next one.